Hi everybody, and welcome to the Engage 2021 relaunch. Thank you so much for giving us 30 minutes of your time today. We really appreciate it, and we've done our best to jam-pack as much as we can to this 30 minutes, but it's definitely not going to be enough time. So if we look at, if we just consider some of the ground rules we put in place for today, we aren't going to be taking any Q&A, and that's specifically because 30 minutes really is just too short to address all different questions. But we have left the chat open. So if you do have any questions, if you've got any demos you'd like to set up or anything along those lines, please pop it in the chat. We are monitoring it and we will respond after this. We've got quite a diverse group joining us today, which is really exciting for us. We're still relatively new in the space and looking to grow a lot in 2021, and to have both new clients as well as prospective clients join us, and both people from South Africa and abroad. So thanks very much for taking the time. We really appreciate it. Actually got a whole span in age groups too. I see my 91-year-old gran has joined us. So if anyone's thinking that they've got an excuse for being a bit old to adopt technology, hopefully that's blown out the water now. So it's been a really challenging and tricky last year. If we're honest with ourselves, we don't have to go into too much detail, but what we've seen the pandemic bring up in businesses is the requirement to have a digital strategy in place. We used to hear the mantra that by 2025, every business will be a tech business. And a lot of companies have left it kind of until the later part of that time period before they started adopting digital strategies. And I think the pandemic's just brought that timeline a lot forward. And now we're seeing there's a lot of activity in the market, a lot of people realizing that changes need to be made, but not always understanding how to put those changes in place. And that's always been a key proposition of ours, is bridging the digital divide. How can we put tools in your hand which enable you to focus on the things you're good at and don't change your day-to-day, but at the same time keep you completely digitally relevant and future-proof. And so that's really the focus of the Engage tool, and we'll go through that more in detail. But the other big thing we're seeing, and it really leans to a key value add of Engage, is the fact that people are more disparate. They're more lonely. It's hard to engage with each other in a face-to-face basis, and we no longer take that for granted. And to have a technology solution which focuses on improving that client relationship, we believe is critical. And so a lot of the tools out there that we often compare to, they will give you analysis, they'll claim to have sometimes a CRM backbone, but it's really just not done with the same focus and dedication that we put into this. We truly put the client first. Everything we put in place is really to improve your relationship with the client so that at the end of the day, they get the maximum value out of their services from it. Cool, so that's pretty much why we're here. And we wanted to share today something we haven't done before, and that's to explain a bit of the how we've built this, how we've thought about it, and give you some insight there, which will both be insightful for our existing customers, but hopefully for new prospective customers, it's worthwhile just to understand the kind of software that you're looking to deploy in your business. Because whilst everyone talks about the rates of change of the fourth industrial revolution, the same thing applies in the technology space. And it really is as applicable to technology companies as it is to end users. And so it's important to understand the stack that your technology, your software provider has chosen. Because you don't want to be in a situation where you feel that technology was originally quite exciting, but it hasn't moved with the times. And the company hasn't delivered on their promise to develop and improve as quickly as they said they would. So without further ado, we are currently Microsoft certified partners. And that really gives us deep insight and skills into be able to develop our solution on top of their platform. We can use the full suite of the Microsoft product suite, and that is extremely powerful. I'm sure almost everyone in this conference room will have used some Microsoft product at some point in their lives. And Microsoft have taken a key approach in terms of how they've built what is called the Power Platform, which is what we built on top of. And it's very different to a lot of products out there, which are fully feature-enabled on day one. And that is all great, and there's many products where that works nicely, but when you want to solve specific business problems and you want the flexibility to solve them at speed, you actually want a set of tools as opposed to an out-the-box software solution. And that's where the Power Platform is so strong. And it gives us the ability to continuously develop and provide solutions at a truly phenomenal pace. We can get requests on a daily basis, which we're able to deploy. We often just bring in new features on a weekly, monthly basis. There really is non-stop. And we've got such a long pipeline of things that we still want to do. We don't see this changing for a long time. And this is really key because from a Microsoft perspective, in terms of our partnership with them, it enables us to fulfill one of the key value adds that we've always said that we'll deliver, and that's co-development. Every user on our system, we consider a partner. We understand that we aren't the experts out in the field every day who use the system and need to make use of it to run their businesses and to improve their client relationships. And so we put the onus or the ability into all of our users to give us that feedback, and we take it on board and we develop as quickly as possible and as robustly as possible. And that also feeds into the next reason why Microsoft is just so great. It's the flexibility. It's the amount of different tools we've got at our disposal to tackle any problems. So whether it's a completely minor thing happening just in your business or really big integration that needs to be put in place, we have all the tools to tackle that. And it just is the case from our side of prioritizing these things and putting them in place. But it is really nice, and it's a big differentiation from our previous platform where we were a bit stuck at times. So moving on to this new platform is quite a big change for us. And then the final thing, and probably the most important thing, is uncompromising security. As a financial advisor, you deal with very sensitive information from clients, and we've had a lot of users ask us as we go along this journey of trying to onboard them, what's your security look like? How can we be sure that when we share client data, we store it on your platform, that there aren't going to be any leaks, there's no problems of that nature? And this is again where having Microsoft as a big brother is just really exciting. I mean, they spend $1 billion a year, which is more revenue than a lot of our JSE top 40 companies make. They spend that on security, on personnel, the hardware, the software, and Microsoft handles 58% of the world's sensitive data. I'll just let that sink in. I mean, this is the company we've chosen to build everything on top of, and I think it should really give you peace of mind. And if it doesn't, then you should go and ask 97% of Fortune 500 why they're comfortable, because that's the current stat of how many make use of Microsoft solutions. So it's an extremely robust and flexible platform, and it's the perfect place for us to put Engage to be able to offer the kind of solutions that you need. Cool. So what we're going to do next is just take a quick look at what happened in 2020. And it was a huge year for us. Like I alluded to previously, we rebuilt this whole tool. This whole solution was originally on a previous generation of the Microsoft platform, and we were facing a few walls and limitations which we needed to overcome. And when we got the opportunity to move on to the Power Platform, we took it with both hands. It's allowed us everything that I touched on earlier, and it's really pushing Engage into a space where it's going to become the premier tool for financial advisors in South Africa. Last year was extremely exciting from the kind of things we started to release at the end of the year, but we're not going to touch on all of those today. There is so much in the Engage solution already, and for anyone who's interested, just from running your practice, improving your engagement with clients, various automations to make things seamless, dashboarding, reporting, documentation, and all sorts of compliance benefits and features, then please get in touch with us. I think this really is something which can help, and we'd love to do a demo. But today we're just going to focus on some of the big ones which we tackled last year and take you through those just so that our existing clients know that they're there and how to use them, as well as to demonstrate some of the things that we'll be looking at going forward. Cool, so the first thing is our quick needs estimator, which we originally thought was a bit of a departure from our mantra of sticking to tools which improve client relationships. But as we started to develop and get feedback from our users in the market in general, we started to understand that this actually is a huge touch point. To be able to develop tools like this in the way that we have, which is specifically to allow them to be co-authored with the client. So you'll see when you get a glimpse of these tools that they are extremely intuitive, they're easy to use, they've got all the analysis and things that you would need in an estimator tool to allow for better informed conversations. These tools aren't your full-blown FNAs, and the reason we've gone this route is to cover 80% of the scenarios which we've come across, and to allow for quick estimators to be put together, really attractive reports can be sent to clients, and it just allows that first conversation to be done in a far more professional manner. And we'll take a quick look at that now. As you can see, really easy to use interface. You navigate between just 3 different sorts of inputs, and there you have it. In just a couple seconds, you've got an output. You can change the assumptions with your client, and at the end of the day, prepare a PDF. Currently, you're seeing our branding. This is fully customized branding, and so your company's branding, colors, etc., all pop up there. And that just means you look extremely professional, and you've got a tool set which just enables you to both understand your client better, but to also look like you're completely on top of your game. So we're very excited about these tools, and Kath will take you through at the end of the session a few of the developments we're planning in that space this year. The next big one's our review date management solution. We've always understood the importance of the review date. And I think sometimes clients don't. They don't always realize that spending that time, taking that hour with their financial advisor to really unpack their financial life is critical. Once a year is probably not enough. But from a compliance perspective and just from a way that the industry currently runs, the once a year touch points currently what's in place. We've appreciated the importance of this and have always focused on having a review date reminder in place. But originally this only went to the financial advisors. And the reason for this was because at the time we thought that was good enough. But after questioning ourselves and after receiving some feedback and people challenging us a little bit, we understood that we could probably extend this a little bit further. And so one of our major releases last year was to introduce a fully end-to-end solution. From a user's perspective, all you need to do on your own profile is just turn review date reminders to on, and the review date process will then run automatically. When that date is triggered, a beautiful mail goes to the client, looks like it's from you. They can then click on a button, which takes them to a landing page where they can select which dates suit them. This again is immediately sent back to you, the advisor, and then all you need to do is select which date works for you. We send our meeting invite to both parties, and the review date is now set up, which is going to be really good. We're hoping to see a lot more review dates, which at the end of the day is going to be far more beneficial to the client, but also emphasizes the value that a financial advisor plays in the client's life. And the final point is just the impact that this has on compliance. All of the communications we send out from the system are tracked, and so you know if a client's seen the request for review date, and you can only try so hard, but it's really good to have that peace of mind that you've done your bit, you've reached out and attempted to set up the review date. So just to give you a quick glimpse of what this looks like, we've got nice professional landing pages. The client can submit the times that they're interested in, and then all of that's synced up with the system very quickly. You've got the ability to go and check which dates have been chosen as the ones the client's interested in. You can capture any notes you're interested in, and behind the scenes, we've gone and sent out the meeting invites. So all of that's managed really without you lifting a finger. So we're particularly excited about this automation, and we'd like all of our existing users to please go turn this on. We think it's an extremely exciting feature and it's going to make a big difference. And the final thing to run through is just our quote conversion tools. And this is brand new. We've always had different modules to help a brokerage run their practice, whether it's capturing of policies or the different details around that, helping you with your new business pipeline and the different process flows which are involved there. But for a long time, we haven't had the quoting module. And we've recently put that in place, and we're extremely excited about the potential that this has to really deliver some true value. Because at the end of the day, quoting is a huge part of really any business, but helping to drive quote conversion is what's critical. And that's what we focused on here. So it's not just about capturing the quotes and the nice side effect that that has in terms of us being able to display really informative dashboards which help you get some insights into how your business is operating and what different quotes are being focused on. But it enables you to start to convert these things. We make sure we remind you after a week if a quote hasn't been touched to try and get some feedback. And then our final little tool is again to involve the client. And it's a big focus of ours. How do we involve the client as much as possible in this process? Because it really is for them. So to get them involved and to allow them to interact with the data, to give you input and feedback is creating this environment which we think can be extremely positive. So we've got this idea of one-click feedback, where you can just click a simple button, it sends a communication to a client who then has a landing page where they can pop all of that data in, and that's fed back to you. So with one click, you can stay on top of your whole pipeline. You know exactly what quotes to be focused on and which ones you've lost. And then the added benefit is that all of this is captured and can be analyzed in the future to understand what's working and what's not. So what you can see here is our quotes pipeline. There's your send quote follow-up button, and all of that immediately gets sent to the client. Once they've updated, your feedback requested is then set to yes, and the inputs that they give here are captured and stored. Sent back to you in an email, and you've got a full view on exactly what's going on in your client's life, and without you having to duplicate or do any manual entries here. So we think it's really exciting. There's a couple very big improvements that we're planning on releasing in the next 3 to 6 months, and we'll keep you up to date with those. But this tool really is ripe for making a huge difference, and any suggestions, please feel free to send them through to us. So that's a good look at where we've currently got up to and some of the exciting tools released in 2020. But as I said, that was just the start. We rebuilt in 2020, and in 2021, we really do feel is our year. And so I'm going to hand over to Kat, who heads up the Engage product, responsible for all the development and all the important changes which take place here. And she's going to take you through what we've got in store for 2021.
Thanks, Nick. It's always so great to take a moment to reflect on everything that we did manage to achieve last year. Man, it's always quite amazing, I won't lie. But now for the really fun stuff, and the stuff that you guys are really here for, a look at what we have lined up for this coming year. As Nick mentioned, we really do focus on building a partnership with you. So everything that we'll be touching on today has been carefully considered and has actually come from conversations with you, whether it has been a quick email or from an in-depth conversation during a review. We have taken note of everything and tried to incorporate as much of it as we possibly can in a way that really does make sense, not only for you, but for everybody else making the portal. So to dive into things, let's get going. The first aspect we are going to be focusing on is something that Nick has touched on already, and that is the expansion of our quick estimate analyses. So currently we only have the quick needs estimate available, but we are really looking to expand this to include risk and medical aid analysis during this year. We're also going to be bringing in a number of calculations, such as shortfall calculations, to really make sure that you're able to get a holistic view of everything that's happening and give your clients an idea of where they may be falling short of their existing cover. And the last thing that we're going to be bringing in is really beautiful interactive graphs that allow you to visually show your clients where their financial well-being is currently sitting, and show them the impact that saving an extra few cents at the end of each month really can have on their savings in the long term. The next thing, which I'm hoping makes a few of you smile, is the introduction of a number of additional client-facing tools. So we really do want to give you the opportunity to engage with your clients in a number of different ways and put the emphasis on your branding and your interaction with them. So the first thing that we're going to be bringing in is a client-facing portal, and this will give your clients the power to access everything that you have captured for them on the system, whether it be their new business applications, their quotes, or even their personal details. They'll be able to access all of this from their own client portal and be able to update anything. So you always have the most relevant information and most up-to-date information right at the tip of your fingers. The next thing we're bringing in is a number of integrated forms. So the first one we'll be doing is a fairly basic information capture sheet, and this you'll be able to send to a client either before a review date or before an initial meeting with the lead to make sure that you have everything that you need to give them the best possible interaction during that first meeting. We'll also be bringing in a number of website integrated forms that will allow you to drill down to those very specific product types and make sure you have all the relevant information to convert those clients when they matter the most. We are really trying to place an emphasis on keeping you and your brand at the forefront of your clients' minds this year, which is why we're really taking a stance and implementing a number of branding, personalized branding aspects. So currently we do have the ability to incorporate branding on your quick needs estimator tool, but we are also going to be expanding this branding to all of the reports that you'll be able to generate in the estimated suite. We're also going to be introducing branding on all of the landing pages that your clients have access to, whether this be a form or the review date process. They'll have your branding all on them, so your clients are constantly being reminded of who they're dealing with. And the last thing we're going to be introducing is a little thank you. So we know that we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you and all of your support over the years. And we would really like to take a moment to share our appreciation for you. Whether it be a quick mail letting us know that you have a great idea, or taking a moment to share the portal with someone in your network, we really do appreciate it. And to say thank you, we're going to be introducing a referral model from the end of this month. We're still ironing out a few of the details, but we're really excited to share it with you, and we hope that it'll make both of us smile a little bit more.
All right, well, that's all we have for you today. We hope it's been an insightful and useful session. We've been really excited putting the content together, and I think it's allowed us to see what our roadmap is for this year and the impact that it can have. So we hope that you've enjoyed it. If you're a prospective engaged user, please feel free to get in touch if you haven't put anything in the comments. And for existing users, thanks again. We really do appreciate your support and allowing us to get where we are. And we promise that we'll continue to put as much effort as we always have in, and to making sure the solution really works for you. So thanks a lot. Thanks for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your week.